already know, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are. Welcome to another edition of the Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning on the Beat 105.5, coming to you loud and through your speakers from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is the Rad Man. The Rad Man is here on the road here in Houston, Texas, getting ready for the big one tomorrow, the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans over at NRG Stadium. We're looking forward to that contest. It should be a good one coming up. The Bills, a lot of injuries. Both teams have a lot of injuries. So it makes for this game to be a very interesting contest coming up for you. And keep in mind, before we get to that, we're coming to you live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios. We're coming to you each week from the Rock Palm Broker Studios. So don't forget to check Sammy and the crew out over at Rock Palm Broker. Deal or no deal. Check them out. They got it going on, and they got a lot of new things coming up in the weeks to come. So we're excited about some of those opportunities that they have at Rock Palm Brokers for sure. No doubt about it. But we're here in Houston, Texas, getting ready for the contest, getting ready for Buffalo Bills versus Houston Texans. Should be a very good contest. The Bills coming in, limping in after that. That's how you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, how badly a team was beaten or beat up the other team the week before. You can tell by Wednesday morning when the team show back up and the players show back up and go to practice, and who doesn't practice on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of the new week. That's how you know guys like Ed Oliver took a beat down last week, and Ed Oliver has been ruled out. He's been ruled out. Austin Johnson, another defensive tackle, he's ruled out. And the reason why they're ruled out is because Ronnie Staley and those cats, offensive, and Nagalawa, the offensive guard and tackles for the Baltimore Ravens, put a beat down on them last week. We know good and well this would be the first time that Ed Oliver would be back home playing in front of his home fans. He's from right here in Houston, from downtown Houston, Texas. And you know how badly he probably wanted to play tomorrow in his hometown. And for him to be ruled out already tells you that he has a serious hamstring injury that occurred sometime during that game against the Baltimore Ravens. Austin Johnson is out with an oblique muscle pull that's around the stomach area. He probably, he was getting beat down on that defensive front last week. As you notice, the Bills were beaten thoroughly on the offensive and defensive side of the ball a week ago. The Ravens just had the Bills' number. They came out in those black uniforms. They had a blackout. They turned all the lights off in the stadium. People started screaming. They announced their starters, and they were all in black. And they said that the Ravens have not lost a game when they worn their completely all black uniforms. And I said to one of the Ravens reporters, I said, well, hell, why don't y'all wear those in the playoffs, man? Because, man, if y'all haven't lost wearing the all black, y'all need to wear those all black during the playoffs, especially when Kansas City comes to town, or if Kansas City comes to your place ever again, you should wear an all black uniform then and have this kind of blackout, because it was loud, it was noisy, it was raucous. I saw WNBA player Angel Reese was at the game. She was there. Got a chance to see her there at the contest, and it was just loud. A lot of celebrities there. The game kicked off, and it's a prime time game, so the teams were really hyped up for the game, and they just wanted it a little bit more than the Buffalo Bills. They were a little bit more. They were off the ball. Lamar Jackson was A+ on his game, and what can you say about Derrick Henry? 24 carries, 199 yards. First play from scrimmage of the Baltimore Ravens series, he goes 87 yards for a touchdown. Nobody didn't even touch him. Nobody didn't even lay a hand or glove or anything, a fingernail, fingertip or anything on him. He came right through the hole. They blasted open the hole with the tight end. And Mark Andrews is an excellent blocker. He's known for his catching skills, but he came in with it, took Russo out with that block. I was like, wow, man, look at that block there. The fullback, Picard, came through. Bam, he hit his man. He kicked the linebacker out where Baylor Spector didn't have a chance. Baylor Spector got sealed off on the inside, and he didn't have a chance of getting to the ball carrier, and Derrick Henry just exploded. And once he got going, that A-train got going. There was no stopping the A-train, because he ran for 87 yards for the touchdown. And that was we're in the press box. The media was like, uh-oh. This is not a good sign for the Buffalo Bills tonight. And then on the offensive side of the ball, the Bills couldn't get their running game started. And then Josh Allen, when he did go back to pass, he was forced to get off the spot. He was running for his life out there. He was making things happen. It looked like the old days of the early days of Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. He was forced out of the pocket, made some nice throws to Khalil Shakir, caught a beautiful pass downfield and got us in scoring position that did result in a Ty Johnson touchdown run. But Shakir couldn't end the game. He was playing on a bad ankle to begin with. The ankle flared up. He gutted it out, even though they taped it up. But I'm sure it swole up real big after the game. And you can see he's out. He's ruled out for this week and maybe out for a couple weeks because with those high ankle sprains, you never know how long that can last. But we're going to miss Khalil Shakir because he's the best Bills receiver. Here, I'm thinking Tyrell Shavers might be called up from the practice squad. I would love to see Tyrell Shavers get in there and they move Curtis Samuels to the slot position and have him in the slot. And then you have Keon Coleman on the other side. And Keon Coleman started to play. He's starting to ball. He dropped one early in the game. You could tell that really he shook that off and had two other back shoulder catches that were really nice. And that's what I'm noticing about Josh Allen this season. He's starting to place the ball where the guys can catch it and run with the football. He's a lot better. He picked up his game even more for this season. He dropped two passes in to Keon Coleman that I thought were very good passes, very good receptions by the wide receiver. But you got to look at the lineup. You got to see who else. Tyrell Shavers should be one guy that's called up. The tight end should be very active in this contest tomorrow. I look for a high-scoring game as well. Both teams are missing players on the defensive front and on the offensive front. But I think that you're going to see a lot of scoring in this contest between the Bills and the Texans. I look to see Dawson Knox hopefully make some plays. He's getting paid enough to make some plays. I don't know why they re-signed him to such a high contract when he's just a very average player. Where Kincaid is out there, and look for Zach Davison, Quentin Morris, maybe Zach Davison may be called up. The 6'8" tight end. He's big, he's huge, he's a big target downfield. He's on the practice squad. I look for seeing him maybe called up, but definitely Tyrell Shavers. I think he would be the next man up, as Coach McDermott would say. He would be the next man up in that situation, making sure that the Bills will have some quality receivers on the field, and they'll hopefully will be able to run the football a little bit. Mac Hollins does the dirty work. He does some good blocking on running plays. He'll probably get some balls thrown his way. MVS. Where's MVS? Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He has a hell of a name, but, man, he plays just the way he played for the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't see him until one game. He just shines out, and then he disappears for several games. Kind of reminds me of Gabe Davis, the former Buffalo Bill. You'll have a big game, and then you don't see them for a few weeks at a time. But this guy, Mac Hollins, MVS, got to show up today, tomorrow. He got to show up and play better football because he's not getting even the ball thrown his way. He's not. I don't know if it looked like he wasn't getting. Heck, it didn't look like anybody was getting open in the game against the Ravens. The Ravens just blanketed the Bills defensively. Coach or defense coordinator for the Ravens had a hell of a game plan on stopping the Bills offense. But I think if the Bills would have went to a hurry up, they might have been able, and they didn't use any screen passes. I thought screens and draws might have been an option that did not take, because the Ravens were just overly aggressive. They were headhunting all night long. They were hitting people on the offensive side of the ball. So let's see what they can do tomorrow. 1 p.m. kickoff at the NRG Stadium here in Houston, Texas. Weather's 90 degrees outside here, very humid days here in the area. So it's a very very humid area. Thank goodness it's going to be played indoors. Also, the Bills, as we switch over to the defensive side of the football, let's talk about the guy who keeps getting his head stuck in the. You got to look to see who you're tackling, and that's Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp is out. And unfortunately, he's out due to you just can't tackle people with your head lowered. And, man, he tried to tackle Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry need him into next week, man, with that knee that he took when Taylor Rapp was trying to tackle Derrick Henry. Cam Lewis later in the game, he just kind of did a bit, as they said in the press box, it looked like he made a business decision. He kind of did an Olay move, acted like he was trying to tackle Derrick Henry, but Cam Lewis made an Olay move, and you saw how he went on by him and kept on running. Hopefully, Teron Johnson will be back in a couple of weeks, and Teron Johnson makes a big difference on the Bills' defensive side of the ball. He's the third linebacker, actually. He's a linebacker / corner. He's really a defensive back, like a safety, playing a linebacker position. And like I said before the season started, the Bills would be in trouble against teams that like to run the football with power football, and that's what we saw. We saw power football. From the Baltimore Ravens. The Bills will always have trouble with that because they let Tremaine Edmonds go. Tremaine Edmonds is not along with the Buffalo Bills. They let him go to Chicago free agency. I kept saying they should have kept him. You need a big linebacker. Now the game is turning back into a running game, a running type football game now, where you have more running than you have passing, or equal amount of runs versus the pass. You're not seeing the all-out runs or all-out passing games that people are throwing. The game Thursday night, the Atlanta Falcons winning in overtime over the Tampa Bay, that was one of the first games this season where the points went over. You went over 52 points or 53 points in the game. And who would have thought Tampa Bay defense would have gave up that many points? And they allowed Kirk Cousins to sit in the pocket, and Kirk Cousins is dangerous when he's in the pocket. And that's when you saw them take. He just let loose and had over 509 yards passing in that game on Thursday night. That's why you got to have a linebacker in there to help stop the run, because you don't see as many games like you saw on Thursday nights. That was a good contest. But getting back to the Bills secondary, Rasul Douglas is playing very well. He's going to have to play well again. Nico Collins, he's going to go up against Nico Collins. That's going to be an interesting matchup. And right now we have the Rasul Douglas interview. Let's see, BacSpin, if we have the Rasul Douglas interview. Okay. We'll see if we have that interview coming up. Okay. In a few minutes, that interview will be coming up. So we're going to have that Rasul Douglas interview coming up shortly, definitely. But when you have that type of opportunity on the defensive front, the Bills are going to probably bring up Eli Ankou. Eli Ankou will probably be brought up from the practice squad. I expect to see him brought up as a defensive lineman. The Bills picked up a defensive lineman from the Atlanta Falcons, a rookie that I don't. He's on the active roster, but I don't think he'll play because McDermott doesn't like playing rookies. I'll be surprised if he plays the young man. He's a rookie out of Georgia, very good lineman, played on their national championship team. The Bills plucked him off of the Atlanta Falcons roster on Monday. And I was wondering, when I saw that defensive lineman being picked up, and they put him right immediately on the active roster, he picked him up. Whenever you pick a player up off another team's practice squad, they have to go on your active roster. So when I saw that move, I thought that was Anthony Johnson, but really it turned out to be Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is the one. Both of those defensive tackles are hurt. So we may see the youngster today. Tomorrow, I doubt it, but I think Eli Ankou will probably be the guy that gets called up. Daquan Jones is playing hard out there. You're going to see a lot more of DC, Dwayne Carter, number 90. Keep an eye on number 90 and see how he fares against the Houston. And thank goodness the Houston Texans is playing with a makeshift offensive line right now. They have some injuries on their offensive line as well. So both of these teams come in banged up. They're going to be. It's going to be an interesting game today. And before we go to our next segment, I'd like to talk about the Alzheimer Walk. The Alzheimer Walk at Innovative Field this morning. Get on out there and support. If you can't make it, the Rochester Associated Black Journalists have a team. Just go to the Facebook page, and if you want to sign up and donate to the cause, because the Alzheimer Association is a great cause. They're going to have thousands of walkers this morning walking from Innovative Field here in Rochester, New York. I'm out here in Houston, Texas. They got a big crowd out at NRG Stadium this morning. They're going to be walking from there. It's a national Alzheimer Walk that's taking place this morning. So please support the Alzheimer's Association. If you know anyone that suffered from Alzheimer's disease, will help us find a cure by making a donation. I made my donation for the team, for the cause, to the Joy and Gordon team of the Rochester Association of Black Journalists Joanne Gordon, great lady over at WXXI. Please feel free to go online and support the walk this morning. Joanne Gordon has a team, her team lined up. If you can't make it out there to walk, at least make a donation to the cause and help with the Alzheimer's Association walk that's taking place later today. Starting later today over at Frontier Field. So come on out, give your support. If you can't come out, make a donation because they really need it. That's the Alzheimer's walk taking place today at Frontier Field. Next, award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, auto, home, health, and life insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Studio Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. She saved me and my family a hell of a lot of money on insurance and homeowners, especially that homeowners insurance. Man, that thing trying to go through the roof, man. It went up again this year. But she found a way to save me some money with that homeowners insurance, and she can help you too. If your homeowners insurance going up, and I'm sure it is, especially if you live in the city of Rochester and with the new taxation and the way they increase the property values and things of that nature, I believe your property is going up just like mine and everybody else's in the city of Rochester. So if it's going up, she can help you out on that. And also commercial insurance. If you own a property or a business, you're a business owner, check out Miriam. She got some really good prices right now for commercial business owners. So check out the award. There's a reason why she's winning awards, because she's just that good. The award-winning insurance agent, Miriam Rivera, Farmers Insurance Agency, auto, home, health, life insurance. But she's almost like a broker because she also has other insurance companies that she deals with that could help you and your family save a hell of a lot of money. So check her out. Also, Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper, published weekly, thechallengernews.com, or call 585-766-3590 for advertising or marketing opportunities. Or if you're looking to turn in something, article, editorial, editorial, editorial at thechallengernews.com. Send in your stories, your articles. We'll run them in Challenger Community News. Send your press releases, articles, things of that nature. We'll run it free of charge in the largest weekly African-American newspaper that covers all of Western New York, Buffalo, Rochester, Niagara Falls, and all in between. Now we got stops in Albion, Batavia gets the parts of it, gets the paper. So it's a surrounding area, Lackawanna, New York, different, but Niagara Falls, New York. So check out the paper, check out, it reaches a lot of people, and it's covering African-American news that you can use. Because always remember, leaders are readers. That's the bottom line. Leaders are readers. If you're not reading, hey, something's up. Something going on there. But let's get back to the world of sports. And we're talking Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans. We're going to get back to the Bills, Texans in a moment. But I'm wondering, has anybody checked out the MLB? And if you want to call in and have a comment, feel free to call in at area code 585-595-1055. That's 595-1055. Feel free to call in, and we'll definitely get you on the show and get you talking and get you things going with you live here on the Beat 105.5. We're talking sports of all sorts. MLB baseball, the New York Mets, they trying to go back to 1969, called them the amazing Mets of 69. They're amazing. When I saw that their game was 0-0 going into almost the eighth inning, I said, Milwaukee, y'all needed to get the lead early on the Mets and coast to a victory. Y'all can't lead this game 0-0. I mean, anything can happen. And guess what? Anything happened. Pete Alonso, he reminds me of those home run hitters that strike out a lot. But if you serve him up a pitch that he can hit, man, he will put the ball out the ballpark, and that's what he did. It barely got over the fence. 3-run home run for the New York Mets. Pete Alonso. He remember Jack Klugman from TV. The guy, I can't think of the guy who always struck out, but he hit. When he did hit, it would either be a home run or a strikeout. And that's what you get with Pete Alonso. And that's what the Milwaukee Brewers get for not putting runs on the board. They were shockingly eliminated from the playoffs. The Baltimore Orioles, man, the Orioles just went down in a man, they just couldn't hit the ball. I couldn't believe my main man, Santander, was the only guy hitting the baseball for the Baltimore Orioles the last month of the season. Santander, you could count on him. He accounted for all their playoff runs basically. And I don't know what happened to Henderson and all those other hitters, young hitters. It seemed like they their jock strap got a little too tight. And you could see they were choking up on the bat. They just looked too intense and too tight. And I thought the manager should have did something to try to loosen those guys up because they were just too intense. And the Baltimore Orioles shockingly was swept as well by the Kansas City Royals. I mean that was shockingly how they were just swept like that. Detroit Tigers did the same thing. They had a sweep. The Tigers played some very good baseball as well. So now the Detroit Tigers go to Cleveland, play the Cleveland Indians. It was the Cleveland. Okay, not the Indians. That's the old name. I'm showing my age out here this morning, everybody. But they play Cleveland later today. The Guardians. They play the Cleveland Guardians later on this afternoon. Kansas City gets a date with the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. That should be a good series. Should be a good pitching series because Kansas City got 3 good pitchers. I think it's going to be low-scoring ball games. Keep your eye out for that series. I think it's going to be some low-scoring ball games going on in that baseball series. National League action. Watch out for the Dodgers, of course. The Dodgers always, and now they got Ohtani on their team. So, and I'm sure Ohtani's hungry to win every award in baseball this season. So watch out for the Dodgers in the playoffs right now. The Atlanta Braves had a lot of injuries, so they're out. The San Diego Padres, Dodgers gonna get it on. The Padres, I think, is the only team left that can really that got the scoring power that can beat the LA Dodgers. The LA Dodgers, because you got. Even though they lost Musgrave to Tommy John surgery yesterday, they announced that he's done. He's out of there. So we're going to see just how that goes with the Dodgers and Padres. That should be a good series. But to further ado, we're going to go on to our next guest is here, and we're going to bring in our next guest who's live right here in Houston, Texas. Joining us live from Houston, Texas is AD. AD, welcome back. I'm in your hometown. Beautiful way. Thanks for having beautiful weather for me. Appreciate it.
Good morning, man. Hey, George, what's up, man? Well, welcome to the H, man. Welcome to H-Town. We're glad to see you here. Obviously, but you riding around here like this Western New York, man. I'm talking to you, and you were. Oh yeah, okay, well, good, man. But like I said, now we are, and I know you catching some HBCU college action this afternoon, and yes. Then later on that you and I hooking up, and we got a lot of stuff to get done tomorrow, but. Yeah, I appreciate you running down all the baseball thing. Thank you for letting me relive that AJ Hinch came in here with the Detroit Tigers and swept the Houston Astros. I really needed that this morning. Thank you, George.
Yeah, that was enough. It was yes. I had to give it to you. Everywhere I went yesterday, people were just down in the dumps. You mentioned Astros. They're like, wow. They really took it to heart. I don't think they even had a clue that Detroit Tigers would even have a chance of beating the Astros.
No, well, here's the thing about it, George. Baseball teams that get hot at the latter part of the season, particularly going into the playoffs, and that's what happened. The Astros met a red hot Detroit Tiger team, and when they dropped that first game, particularly when you're at home, you would hope that you should be taking, especially when all 3 of those games are going to be at home. At least get one of them, get the first one. And if you drop the second one, so to me, I thought it was a lot more undue pressure was on the Astros to try to push this to a 3rd game series, but they didn't. I think they felt the pressure, but that happened. That's sports. That's what happened. You met a red hot Detroit Tigers team. The storylines were just ideal. AJ Hinch brings the team back in here, same place that he won the series in 2017, and all of a sudden, hey, he gets fired for the cheating scam, suspended, all this other stuff. But hey, he comes in, said thank you very much, and I'm gone. Oh, by the way, take this butt kicking, and I'm going out the way.
Right, and that's shocking that Bergman and the veterans, such a Tuve, all the veteran players. Jordan's not a rookie no longer. Jordan Alvarez, it's a veteran team, but they seem to choke up. They seem just as bad as the Baltimore Orioles. They seemed like they were. Why would a veteran team all of a sudden have to press?
I don't know, man. Here's the deal. The Astros started the season off. Everybody was, they started off real bad, slow, hair on fire, and then they caught. They finally got the lead round by the middle of the season, round by the All-Star break. So everybody felt okay. We back in control, and they were. You got to applaud them for what they've done. because everybody would kept saying, I know there was some folks around here that was talking out of both sides of their mouth. Because some folks last year were talking, well, it's time for Dusty to go. Now Dusty left, and then the Astros were struggling, and then we want Dusty back. I'm going,
Oh, really?
Dusty not coming back. Dusty gone. Y'all talked him out of town, so this is what you get. So either ride with the hand you have that was played for you, and applaud them. I mean, come on, 7 years in a row, this team went to the ALC championship, won it.
Yep.
So I applaud it, man, because if you remember prior to that, the Astros had, I think, 3 100-loss seasons back to back to back.
Right.
They lost over 100 games, man. So, folks get complacent. They forget about the downtime. And so I take it in totality that you're not going to win them all. And the fact that you win the playoffs, you're going to applaud it, and they won't be. The string has been snapped. So, hey, start a new string. That's just the way I look at it, man.
Absolutely. And people, I'm glad you mentioned that. People forget when you're winning, you forget about the losing years.
Yeah.
You had a lot of losing seasons there, as you mentioned. And people kind of forget that. Hey, man, you better be glad that you have a coach of Dusty Baker's nature and how long it can last. Because this season, you lost a lot of games to teams, the Angels and teams
Right.
that the bottom feeder, the so-called bottom feeders of Major League Baseball. You guys were losing to them.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I mean, hey, I take it for what it's worth, man. I'm happy. But heck, you didn't come all the way to H-Town to talk about the Astros. I mean, I think you can. I think there's a team out of Western New York that's supposed to show up in NRG Stadium tomorrow. 1 Central, 12 o'clock. 1 Eastern, 12 Central. The Buffalo Bills are coming into town. I think they want to throw the helmet on the field and see what's going to happen. But it's going to be interesting tomorrow, George. I guarantee it will be interesting tomorrow.
Yes, the Bills limp into town a lot. They limping into town after a butt whoop, a physical beatdown they took from the Baltimore Ravens. So you're catching the Bills at the right time. Can you tell us, AD, about some of the injuries, some of the players that will not be playing, and maybe who's replacing them?
Well, all right. In fact, it's funny. I was just looking at some notes. Tank Dell that's still a problem. You may not necessarily see Joe Mixon is going to be a game day. Dominic Pierce is going to be sort of a game day. Laramie Tunsil, I mean, he looking at the injury reports, he's dealing with an ankle. So I mean, and from your side, Ed Oliver. I think Ed. If I remember looking at I think Ed. I don't know if he's practiced yet, but I know he's on the injury report. So
no,
I'm not sure.
No, he's out. He was ruled out yesterday. Yeah, he's out. He took a serious beat down. Him, Austin Johnson, the tackle that was next to him, he took a beat down. Both of them are out. Johnson with the oblique, Ed Oliver with the hamstring. And I was telling our listeners' audience when we first came on, for Ed Oliver to miss an opportunity to play his first professional football game in his hometown, he's seriously hurt.
Oh yeah. I mean, because if there was any way they could put tape and baling wire and everything else, Ed Oliver was gonna have a whole section of the stadium there, rooting for him, man. So hey, and really personally, I hate it for the young man because I covered him at the U of H, man. So as far as I'm concerned, I really just hate the fact that he won't be there. But that's the National Football League. Think about it, George. We're already at the quarter-mile post, and you starting to see the injuries starting to mount up on all of these teams, every last one of them. And really, as far as I'm concerned, and this is sort of my own pet peeve, way the league is structured now. With the preseason games, none of the vets nobody's playing during the preseason. Then all of a sudden, everybody line up for the first game. And really, the National Football League, they make the fans pay for a regular season game, but really, you getting preseason for the first quarter of the season. This is really because everybody finally is just rounding in the shape.
You're right.
And that's where we are right now, man. So I think now, okay, and as I state now, all right, this is the start of the second quarter mile post. Now we get time to start seeing NFL football. But a lot of these guys, a lot of what we folks expected to see, we got a lot of injuries to report.
Yeah, because I think these guys are just practicing too much. The OTAs, the off-season workouts. I think with these guys' bodies are so fine-tuned that it's too fine-tuned. I mean, some guys don't have any body fat on them or very little. I mean, if something gives, that's why you see torn pectoral muscles. You never used to 20, 30 years ago. You never saw you didn't even know what that was, a torn pec. What is a torn pec?
Well,
Guys,
wait a minute. Hey, George,
yeah,
we couldn't even spell it.
right.
We
What is that?
Yeah, we go. Wait a minute. We had to go find an anatomy. We had to go get a map, biology, and then find we had pec. Wait a minute. We point to our hamstrings or something. Is that a pec muscle? But really, man.
An oblique. That's another new one. Johnson out with an oblique strain, man. What the heck is an oblique strain, man?
I concur, man. Like I said, but it's kind of ironic, and we are showing our ages, man, because I know I've heard this, even for the Texans doing training camp, they were out on the field, in this heat down here. Now, the unique thing about it, the fact that because they've had the first game, the Hall of Fame game, so the Texans came to camp early.
Right.
Then they spent time up in the Cleveland area for over a week, which I think in the long run, I think if the Texans make it to New Orleans or make it to the AFC Championship, I think you can go back and look and really, if you look at the totality, all the injuries and everything, I think one of the things that you probably can look to is that the Texans, spent that week out of Houston and spent a week practicing up in the Cleveland, in the cool environment of the Cleveland area, because I guarantee you, it was nothing cool down here. When camp started down here for the Texans, they started off on the cloudy conditions, cool and everything. But toward the end of the training camp, though, that typical heat was breaking out. So that's where we are, and so I think that to a great degree, was a plus for the Texans if at the end of the year they find themselves in the AFC Championship.
Absolutely, and see J-GILLZ, welcome. The co-host J-GILLZ, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Oh man, two of the OGs in the building. We got the Radman and we got AD. I'm sitting here listening to these great conversations, and it's a huge elephant that y'all have yet to address, and that's the Stefon Diggs factor. Fellas, what's going on? How are we feeling about Diggs? Tell me some conversation about that. AD, you've been able to cover him this year. Radman, you've covered him for the last several. Man, the Diva AD gets to finally, no, not AD, excuse me. The Diva Stefon Diggs gets to finally go against Josh Allen. And the Diva that we know as Josh Allen finally gets to try to silence Stefon Diggs. What is the chances of that matchup? Fellas, talk to me.
Go ahead, AD.
Well, hey man, let me number one, and this is, and like I say, full transparency. When that trade was made, I had the Radman come on, and we talked about it because we realized how Stefon left Minnesota, coming to Buffalo, and then it was almost a similar circumstance. Up until this point, Stefon Diggs has been the consummate pro. Period. And I think, guys, everybody in that receiver room, Nico Collins, Diggs, Weber Woods, all those guys, man, it's just been, I hate to say it's been a kumbaya moment for you, and I know that might be disappointing for some folks, but remember, they tore up the latter part, his last couple of years of his contract. Diggs is on a 1-year deal right now. That the Texans tore it all up and gave him all his money up front. Talking about money is not your reason for you to be upset about anything. So that whole situation has been taken care of. All you need to do is come in here and play, and that's what he's done, man. As I stated earlier, he has been the consummate professional in the locker room with the media and everybody else, man.
Excellent. Wow. I see he had his first rushing touchdown of his career. So they thinking of creative ways of getting him the football. So far, right?
Well, yeah. But then let's go ahead and that was supposed to be a throwback touchdown to CJ Stroud, man.
Really?
That was supposed to, no. I mean, because I'm sitting there watching, man, and no, that was supposed to be a throwback to CJ Stroud and the Jags had somebody on, and really that the whole middle of the field open. You thought Moses had stood up on the mountain and raised his arms up, and the Red Sea opened up. Man, I mean, come on, you could have driven you could have driven like he almost could have ran across Niagara Falls, man. Wide as that lane was for him, man, when he scored that touchdown, man. So that's what happened. But yeah, he got credited for a rushing touchdown, but it was supposed to have been a throwback to C.J. Stroud. But like I said, it opened up like the Red Sea, and he literally walked. He could have walked. He could have backed. He could have did like James Brown and just did the camel walk in there, man. It's so far wide open, man.
But it also said, okay, it also seemed our team's defense and C.J. Stroud much better this season because he's not off to that great start like he was last season. Are
they
figuring him out?
You know what? I think it's George. I think there's a combination. I think team has tape on him now, but also here's the other thing. The offensive line it started off with the 5 from last year, but then we've already had injuries as I started at the top of this block. Injuries have worked havoc on this offensive line. So CJ is having already to do a lot of scrambling, but the scramble drills, and that's what's making Nico Collins so viable right now, because every time CJ starts scrambling, I think what teams might start to find out, you make CJ scramble, and for some reason, Nico Collins winds up somewhere 15 to 20 yards down the field, man, and it's coming up with some dynamic catches. So that sort of, like I said, you can take your poison, you can keep him in the pocket, and then make him try to find his receiver. Once he gets on the flow and starts rolling out and scrambling around, man, he can be a handful, particularly downfield with Nico Collins, because Nico Collins has been, up until this point, he's been like the Hall of Fame receiver, man. So, but all in all, it's going to be interesting tomorrow at NRG Stadium, man.
Yes, J-GILLZ. Yeah, question there.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's gonna be an excellent game, and just looking at not just the Houston Texans, but AD, as we talk about the South in general, I think the expectations were through the roof. But as we saw throughout the season, it just has not become what we thought it would be. Every year we think the South is going to be one of those divisions that's going to be concrete, tough. But you got the Jaguars 0-4. You got the Titans 1-3, and then you got the Indianapolis Colts and a disappointment of a guy like Anthony Richardson. What is the mindset of the Houston Texans? What's your thoughts on? I mean, as this first quarter of the season, we're in October, so these playoff percentages are really going up. What's your thoughts?
I as it stands right now, Coach, they hadn't played the Titans, but the the Texans are 2 games up on everybody in the South right now, man.
Oh wow!
So I mean, think about that. They are, because they've already played. They already taken care of the Colts once. They got the Titans. I mean, the Jaguars and the Titans will be coming up in this quarter right here. They'll get to see the Titans. So, but they're already a +2. Be candid with you, man. I think a lot of folks are trying to figure out what the Jaguars are. I mean, everybody's trying to figure out, and even mine, because when you look at them on paper, they look like a competitive ball club, but they just haven't been able to punch you through, man.
They've got the talent. We were able to see, me and the Radney was able to see them in upstate New York, Orchard Park. They've got the talent. They've got the receivers. They've got the quote-unquote quarterback. We're just not sure what's going on. But we could tell you this. Head coach Doug Marrone, he didn't even come out to the media. He was so upset.
Doug Peterson didn't come out. Yeah, Marrone somewhere, who didn't know where he at, but Doug Peterson, yeah, Doug Peterson didn't even want to come out. Didn't want to come out and speak to the media after that game. But everything went wrong. But I thought everything went right, and to me, they outplayed the Texans a week ago. And I thought, the Jags had won that game, and I was shocked. Being on the road down in Baltimore, getting ready for the Ravens game down there. I didn't catch the end of the game, but when I saw the final score, I was like, dog, how did Jags mess around? Because they were dominating when I was listening to it on the radio.
They did. No, if you
they
no,
dominated you guys.
no, they did. No, they completely. They brought the kitchen sink and everything else. They threw everything they had at the Texans because. And I was sitting up in the press box, and I think I mentioned to Kim, Kim Davis. I mentioned the Kim. I went like because I think it was around about the 5:04 mark of the fourth quarter, and I said that then I said if the defense didn't get a stop, then this game's history. And lo and behold, the defense got to stop. And really, and from that point forward, it's just a matter of just continuing to play. And like Coach D'Amico Ryans mentioned, he said, "Look, I'll take a win any kind of way." And part of what my recap when I started talking about that game, that was not a pretty contest. It was, but at the end of the day, you take the W. Nobody says it was a pretty win or a pretty loss or ugly loss. No, it's a W. And D'Amico Ryan say, I take a win any way we can get it. And that's what it happened, man.
That's what happened. And so who do you feel the viewers here in Western New York should be looking out for on the Texans defense? I think the Bills can run the football. If Deion Dawkins is able to go, I think that offensive line, the Bills will be able to move the ball, running the ball. Who should the Bills watch on your defensive front?
Here's the key. Excuse me, George. I watched the Texans' two starting defensive tackles. Now they rotate them a lot, but if the Bills are going to have any kind of success running the ball, it's going to have to come between the 5 and the 6 or walking up in the middle because their defensive tackles. I mean, Tim Settles and the rest of those guys.
Tim Settles. Is he starting for you guys?
Yeah, he
ain't even, I don't think he got the cleat marks off his jerseys yet from the times he got stomped in Buffalo last year. Oh my God! Yeah, Buffalo gonna run the ball on that. Yeah.
No, he's down. He's playing down here now. He's playing down here. You got Foley. Boy, I'm gonna mess up his name because, Fatakui. I'm messing up his last name, but Foley. Okay. But again, remember. The Texans got rid of their starting defensive tackles from last year, and we can run coming in with new defensive tackles. So, and they rotate theirs a lot, George. So
they do.
It's not necessarily who's starting, but you're gonna see you're gonna probably see four different guys rotate, maybe 5 different guys rotating in at the defensive tackle. So I would tell the folks watching the game from Western New York, just watch the interior side on the defensive line, and Aziz, and watch the other linebackers how well if the Bills can get up to the secondary into the secondary and get up to the linebackers, they're probably gonna have a good day of running the football. But if not, if the front four can contain, if they can play on this side of the Bills ball, it might be a long day for running, but for the Bills running. But like I said, you have to wait. In the words of it, right. we got to let them kick the kickoff and see what happens. Speaking of kickoff,
how's Stingley? Before we get to the kickoff, how's the defensive back Stingley? How's he been playing?
Stingley's been playing pretty good, man. I mean, let's face it, man. If you're not getting the pressure on these quarterbacks, man, I don't care Stingley. I don't care you name it, man. You can see a lot of things. I mean, it's just a matter of just keeping pressure on them folks because Donnell and Will, at the rush ends, they're keeping consistent pressure. It's still, I think I'm going back to this issue again. It's still a weakness, I think, and I don't call it a weakness. I just think it's a situation that the D tackles are going to have to be a lot tougher from the 3 techniques and tightening stuff down.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to have to see the tightening up. And I'm sorry, I apologize to interrupt you there. You were getting ready to say something about the new kickoff?
Yeah, speaking about this, I'm not sure how you're. George, when you sit up and watch college football in high school, and then you turn around on Sundays and see this. Now, I knew in the XFL they was trying this new kickoff thing but I'm still having a hard time adjusting to this from the NFL standpoint. I understand what the NFL is trying to do. I understand what the NFL wants to get done. But I'm sort of going like I'm not feeling this new kickoff. I'm just not from the NFL. I watched it from the XFL standpoint and the USFL standpoint, and even talking to the special team coordinator. I think everybody's still feeling this thing out, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they jumped to it a little too soon. They wasn't expecting that because now the teams are just kicking it out of the end zone rather than even allowing the guy to, because the guy ran one back. The Bills already had one run back on them already.
Right, and I think that was the first one. I think that's the first and only run back they ever had on this new kickoff deal, right?
Oh, that's right. I think you're right. I don't think anybody else says that. Yeah, because nobody's kicking it. They're not getting enough returns to get a chance to score.
No, everybody just booming the ball, like you stated. Everybody just winding up and just booming the ball. And let's face it, look at the plethora of 50-yard field goals that's coming about now. Come on, these guys from where they kicking the ball off, they basically kick a field goal from there. Not as strong as these guys' legs are and everything, man. But that's my little pet peeve, George. So I'm off my platform.
And as we continue, anybody checking us out on YouTube, like us, like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like Internet Passport. Thank you for joining us, Internet Passport. Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, Real Deal Sports Show on YouTube. Like us, subscribe, and leave a comment for sure. And you're absolutely right with the kicking game. The biggest thing I don't like about the kicking game is they taking away the onside kick. The onside kick was a maneuver that you could do. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl with the onside kick. So how are you going to take out the onside kick? Because you need to allow the guys to be able to move and move their way up. The only way it can happen is if like it happened last Sunday, a defender fumbled the ball, fumbled the little short onside kick. But you got to have guys moving and being able to hit. It's a hitting. They're wearing shoulder pads. They're wearing helmets. Bring back the onside kick.
Well, but here's the thing about it, George. You can have the onside kick, but you can only do it in the fourth quarter. Oh, guess what? I'm behind. This is the fourth quarter. Oh, we need to do the onside kick. Everybody in the stadium, guess what we get ready to do? We get ready to do the onside kick. Hell, what surprise is that when you done announce it to everybody?
Right. That's what I was like. That don't make no sense. Who came up with that rule? I would have been in the rules meeting to know, man, what idiot came up? No, man, you're not gonna do that, man. That's a way you could win a football game. If Sean Payton won a Super Bowl by kicking off onside kick to begin the second half and caught the Indianapolis Colts sleeping on that one, that was part of their comeback to winning that game. Why can't in a game that big? Why can't you keep it and say, hey, you come on? Well, that's the element of surprise.
You know that you're right, and it's been taken out as a play selection out of the coach's hand, because I asked D'Amico Ryans during training camp. I say, Coach, could you please explain the new kickoff rule? And when he got to that part about in the fourth quarter, you can only do an onside kick in the fourth quarter if you're behind, and I'm going like, what? I'm going like, okay, whatever. But I hopefully, George, that the National Football League go back and rethink that process, because I'll put it like this: if colleges and high schools switch to it, then we done. Then we might well go ahead and give it up. We're gonna be like old dinosaurs. We just gonna go ahead and just get rolled into the earth and turn. We just gonna be like old dinosaurs. We're gonna perish. But until the colleges and the high schools, as long as they continue to do the normal kickoffs, I don't think the pros are the pros. We understand that.
Right.
But
I look forward to seeing the kickoff later today at the Texas Southern game today. Look forward to seeing a real kickoff live and in person.
In fact, you're gonna be at the stadium. And I hope you're in, because that's the stadium where the Dynamos play at too. And that's the one and you'll be right next to the juice box, where it's right across from where the Astros play at too, George.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Great. I wish good. You got so many stadiums here in Houston. It's just unbelievable. But in closing, what do you think would be the final score of the game? And also, can you tell us what brought us together? And that was Max Edson, Houston Defender, longtime reporter for the Houston Defender. Can you tell us a little bit about Max Edson as well? He brought you, myself, Houston Roundball, Chris Gardner, who comes on the show on a regular basis as well.
Well, yeah. In fact, I'm glad that gives me a segue to folks that, because I think tomorrow in my post game, and I think if we work it out, you'll be on the post game show tomorrow on the Ad Max Corner YouTube channel, and it's called the Ad Max Corner because AD Max, and I just call it the Ad Max Corner, and KORNER on the YouTube channel. Also the Ad Max Corner Instagram. And who is G Max Edison? Yeah, man, look, that's my ride to die buddy, man. He passed away a few years, 5 years ago. Max been gone 5 years now,
wow.
Man. On
doesn't
his
seem
birthday.
like it.
No, it doesn't seem like it. But Max was that linchpin, like you said, between me, us meeting you guys, and then Chris Gardner. And I'm pretty sure you'll probably see. You'll see Chris. I'm pretty sure you'll be having Chris with basketball season because
yes.
Chris KG is in his glory right now because basketball season has started, and so he's in his glory now. But as far as my friend, I'm the godparents of his oldest child, and so it's but it's a lot of good memories. In fact, in my office, it's a picture of me, Max and myself, and I'm not sure exactly when that picture was taken, man, but. As far as the sports editor, and in fact, award-winning sports editor of the Houston, he was award-winning editor. He won some awards, man, as being the editor of the Houston Defender, man. Just like the Challenging News up there for y'all, that's what the Houston Defender was. It was the largest black weekly down here, man. So that afforded that opportunity. But he and I started really with Ralph Cooper, the award, the Hall of Fame reporter. That gave us an opportunity because both of us coming out of Sam Houston State University, Max, and we got a chance to go and start on the radio and really, and then he became the host of the Fritz Pollard Alliance, and he was the host of that event. So we had a lot of journeys together, man, a lot of Super Bowls together, and he's missed.
Great man.
A great man. I had a gregarious laugh. And so, like I say, you, Pat, and all of us, and that's hey, anytime that I get on a plane and come to Western New York to come to a football game, man, and the fact of being able to come to the stadium, man, and just having established the relationships we have now with you all, man, we all can sort of sit there and say thank God for the folks that have been in our lives, and thank God for having a Max Edison that was the reason that has brought us all together, man. So
absolutely, the reason for the season.
As I say, the Lord moves in mysterious ways, and you give all countenance to Him and just give Him all the praise and the glory, man. But I'm through preaching, man.
Thank you so much. I know you're gonna preach on tomorrow. I can't wait to hear your sermon in the press box tomorrow. Can't wait. J-GILLZ, come on quickly and just give us a quick WNBA playoff update.
Oh man, well, Aja Wilson, the GOAT as we know her, they were able to force a game 4, for the Las Vegas Aces. I predicted that the Aces were going to win those next two. So that right there wasn't a surprise to me. But other than that, no games today. But tomorrow the Minnesota Lynx take on the Connecticut Sun as well. So I think right now the main matchup is the Liberty and the Aces. That is the finals matchup of the last season, and I think that Aja Wilson, once they handle business in Las Vegas tomorrow at 3 p.m. on ABC, then I think that after that, I think that Game 5 matchup is going to be the game of the series, the game of the playoffs. That's going to be the game to see which one of those teams are going to go ahead and take on the eventual Connecticut Sun. I believe the Connecticut Sun and that other matchup against Minnesota will be going on to the NBA.
They had a great
Finals.
game. They had a good one last night with the Lynx. Nafisa Collins had a great game last night. Man, she willed that team with block shots. The Lynx are up 2-1.
Defensive Player of the Year.
She should be. I see why. That girl did it all last night for the Minnesota Lynx. Right, BacSpin. I know BacSpin's in there. I know we're running short on time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, as you
y'all
can see,
doing?
we got the legend AD with us, and hey, everything going with your Cowboys? They okay with them?
I mean, we gonna see you come to tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields, we can't stop the run. We can't stop a quarterback who runs. Our defense is banged up. Micah Parsons is banged up. Lawrence is banged up. Hey man, I don't have high hopes for my Cowboys this Sunday.
But BacSpin was back on top of the fantasy league this past week, edging me out by 1 point, 2 points. And then, I mean, come on, BacSpin. You couldn't let me get that one.
Hey, nah, I can't let you get nothing. Nothing.
I'm just trying to get a win. That's all I'm trying to get.
Oh, man. It was a hard fought match, J-GILLZ. I thought I was going to lose, brother. I thought it was over, but thank God that your Miami defense and your kicker didn't hold up to their end of the bargain.
My Dolphins did me in, man.
Oh man, don't mess with those Dolphins. That's the moral of the story. Don't mess with the Miami Dolphins. Man, Jalen Phillips gone for the year again. He stays on. He's a good player, but stays on the shelf way too much. Way too much.
Bad for Phillips. Definitely.
I see a high scoring game tomorrow. Bills 28-24. Bills pull it out late, or maybe 31-28 Bills. Quickly, your score, AD?
I'm going 35-31.
Okay, AD, quick question.
Yeah.
Who do I start? Do I start Justin Fields or do I start Nico Collins? I'm sorry, not Nico Collins. CJ Stroud. I'm sorry, not Nico. I'm starting Nico for sure. CJ Stroud.
Over Justin Fields?
Yes.
And they playing the Cowboys?
Yeah, they play the Cowboys, but fantasy. Ain't no politics involved in my fantasy.
Hey, stick with CJ. Stick with CJ.
I'm going with CJ. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take that advice.
Bills have a lot of injuries. Yeah, I would stick with CJ. I think it's going to be a high scoring game tomorrow afternoon.
Cool.
Get a lot of fantasy points on the line.
Thank you guys so much. Real Deal Sports Show. We're going to check back in with y'all again next week. And hopefully my Cowboys will pull a win out tomorrow night, man.
Yeah, you really, BacSpin, you really hoping. You're really hoping.
That's a fact. Yeah, I sure am. I sure am.
And remember to be a good sport, everybody. Thank you, AD, for coming on the show this morning. And check us out live after the game on Facebook Live with our live broadcast wrap of the Bills-Ravens football game. Take care, everybody.
Appreciate it, man. See you later on, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Keep it where you need it, Rock City. The Back of Time Make Sure is on the way right here on the Beat 105.5.